Originality, man, say you're playing.
Yeah, you are now listening to the Danny D and DQ Untitled Sports Show. Yeah, man. Bro.
Hello, this is DQ, along with my colleague and lifelong friend Danny D.
DQ, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. This is a general news update. Things happening around the NFL. But before we get into that, I would just like to say something, Dan, if I could.
Please.
All right. I've been going on NFL's Facebook page, ESPN, Sports Center, such and such. I don't follow other sports. I only really am interested in NFL. So I go and I click on the comments because, over the years, especially as social media has been gaining repertoire, I like to see what people have to say about, what's going to be happening, especially, fantasy football, rookies, whatever. So, I'm scrolling through their page and I see the posts and I see hundreds of comments and I click on the comments and I scroll down and the first 100 of 300 is racist this. You're white, you're black, I hate you, they don't kneel, we're never going to watch it. If Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job, we won't watch it. Listen, people. You won't watch it. You want to stand up for something. You want to represent something by, boycotting the NFL. That's fine. Let me ask you a question, though. Why on God's green earth are you still following it on Facebook? Why are you still commenting on a post about the top 10 pass rushers that are going to be coming out of the draft next year, talking about the Confederate flag and tearing down statues and Trump and KKK and... Leave that to the rest of Facebook, because that's all the rest of Facebook seems to be nowadays, but I don't even want to get too much into that, but my whole thing is, leave politics out of the NFL, please. The NFL has become political and, wimpy enough over the past few years within itself as far as rule changes and what constitutes as a catch, and you can't, you can't blow freaking air on a quarterback without getting a 15-yard penalty. Never mind talking about KKK and Donald Trump and Black Panthers and burning the Confederate flag and burning the American flag and he should kneel or he shouldn't kneel. Listen, I could care less if they kneel, if they lie down, if they stand up. It's disrespectful for them not to, but again, I hear the other side of the argument that it's their right, and I agree, it is their right. I wish it would go back to the way it used to be, before the players would even stand out on the field and would just be in the locker room. If this is going to be such a distraction to the game of football, then I want it removed from the sport, because I don't need to be, trying to forget about KKK and all this stuff by watching football and following football. I don't need to go click on this stuff to hear about how you're not going to watch it anymore and this and that.
And yeah, I totally agree with you, DQ. And what really disappoints me too is, if you really think about it, the sport itself of football, you're a team. You guys are brothers. You're out there. You're black. You're white. You're Asian. You're Hispanic. It doesn't matter. You're all one. You're all a part of one team. You're all one family. All have one goal at the end of the year, and that's to go win a championship. So what if Colin Kaepernick wants to sit down and Marshawn Lynch want to sit down during the thing? It's their right, like you said before. And it shouldn't have such an uproar in the NFL. And just like you said, it drives me bananas to go onto an NFL page and it'll be about a Hall of Famers, just talking about Kurt Warner or LaDainian Tomlinson, and the first comment to pop up, because it has thousands of likes, is about Colin Kaepernick or about race or about the tiki torches down in Virginia. And I'm not even that mad at the people that post it. It's all the people that like it and comment on it and just build and just thrive on the hatred.
Feed into it, which is why I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Enough about it.
They feed into it, which is why I don't even want to talk about this anymore. We spent 5 minutes on it. Let's move on.
5 minutes too much.
Yeah, 5 minutes too much. I just wanted to say my piece. Let's move on to real NFL news. Real NFL news. I want to ask you actually a question. I'm going to make this a little more interesting instead of just spitting stuff out there. The Ezekiel Elliott suspension. Speaking of actual football politics, suspensions, another thing that has to do with football politics. We all know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Well, for those of you who don't know, Danny D here is a Dallas Cowboys fan. What's your thoughts on the Ezekiel Elliott suspension and also his appeal of it?
I think it was really smart of him to appeal it. I'm not even trying to sound like a biased Cowboy fan at all, but I find it like disrespectful to get 6 game suspension, which is over a quarter of the season, because you were accused of a domestic violence. Now, don't get me wrong, domestic violence is no joke. I don't have any sympathy for your Greg Hardys and your Josh Browns. I have no sympathy. I don't
Ray
like. They
Rice.
shouldn't even be. Yeah, Ray Rices. Just like they're not in the league. Good. That's where they belong. Not in the league. We don't have room for that. But the difference between all of those guys, they've been convicted. DQ. They went to court. They got proven guilty in the court of law. But Zeke Elliott hasn't even gone to court. All of these accusations have been dropped. I've even seen some leaked text messages from Zeke Elliott's crazy girlfriend at that time. And people, let me let you know, she is quite psychotic. Sending text messages to Zeke Elliott that I'm going to ruin your career, I'm going to ruin your life, because she's not invited to his 21st birthday party.
I imagine they're going to use that in the defense, obviously.
There's text messages of the friend of Zeke Elliott's girlfriend saying, the police are calling me about Zeke. What do you want me to tell them? I mean, you know damn well there is a lot of people out there in the NFL that do abuse women, but there are also women that cry wolf because they know that these young 20 to 21-year-old kids are about to step into a large sum of money. Playing in the NFL is a really extreme sport, and you get paid accordingly. And knowing that you're not going to be taken with them to the top and get to live your precious pampered life as a rich housewife in your $1 million mansions, get over yourself. You don't shouldn't. I think women. No. I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
Let me.
I was just gonna say that I think women that accuse people of rape and then are proven wrong in the court of law should also face some type of disciplinary action. They shouldn't just, all right, just go home.
All right, so I'm not trying to.
I know the ladies out there will agree with me.
I'm not trying to say one way or the other how I really feel about it, but I'm just kind of really trying to play devil's advocate here and just get a little insight as to how you feel about this. So let me pose this to you, though. You think that, leaked video of shortly after the season ending, him down in Mardi Gras, pulling down a girl's top in front of everybody, doesn't that kind of show that, like, he's willing to put his hands on a girl inappropriately, not necessarily domestically violent, it wasn't violent or anything like that, but still, he did something inappropriate with physical contact. So, and also, speaking of that same video, do you think that has something to do with the suspension or even how long he was?
Oh, yes, that definitely has a big part to play into the suspension. But when the overall story is mainly because of the domestic violence, but don't get me wrong, DQ, I don't even know if you know this, but a couple weeks ago, he knocked a man out at a Texas bar, broke his nose. They didn't file any incident reports or anything about that.
Because he probably was wearing a Zeke Elliott jersey.
He probably loves Zeke, yeah, I'll agree. But he has had a he's had a running. He was videotaped at Mardi Gras pulling down the girl's shirt. And I think he did deserve to get suspended. And those did all add up and probably did give you the 6 game suspension. But when the main reason that the suspension was even issued out was what I'm feeling is a false domestic violence case. And then for 6 games, it's just...
So let me ask you this. So do you think he's going to win his appeal?
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to win his appeal, but I think at best it'll be a 2 game reduction, so maybe 4 game suspension altogether.
Man, 4 games is a hell of a lot
better than
2.
6.